It's spooky season on this CU podcast super show. It is a Thursday, the rare Thursday recording, October 24th, 1 week away from Halloween 2024, alongside world traveler Ian Ferguson.
Howdy.
I am exhausted Pat Contry. On the show today, we'll be discussing a lot of fun stuff like the Alarmo clock. We'll be discussing a California law, discussing a change how digital stores are going to be selling games going forward. Atari enters the sauce market. Lunchly, we all love Lunchly. We talked about that before. Arcade one
Lovely Lunchly.
And a lot of N64 today we'll be discussing. It's the fall of N64, meaning autumn, not like the decline of N64. It's the autumn of N64.
Fall 64.
Ian just came back from Japan, and we'd love to tell you all about it, but we already have on the exclusive mini-sode on our Patreon, patreon.com/CU podcast. But Ian had a great time, right?
Yeah, it was fantastic. Got back home late last night. Definitely still customizing to the time change. I have a feeling jet lag is going to be tough this weekend.
It's Wednesday for Ian right now.
No, it's Friday for me.
Oh, so
now.
It's right. It's Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday afternoon for me.
Ian has lived more than all of us, kind of.
The time travel thing is kind of fun to think about.
I've done
it's
before.
Humorous.
It's interesting.
Yeah, we definitely talked about it in the intro segment or the bonus segment, but I didn't really touch on any of the gaming that I bought. The games I bought, I picked up a lot of nano blocks. That's been a thing that I've really gotten
nano
into.
Blocks?
They're like micro Legos that you put together with a tweezer. They're fun.
What?
Yeah, they keep my head real fucking cool and calm.
That's such an Ian thing.
They're awesome. Picked up a lot of nice pens. I picked up the full spectrum of pens from really nice to cheap, all of them fountain pens. And I'll talk about that more on a
custom stop that and be like, what the hell are you doing with all these pens?
No, it's Japan is like that's a haven for fountain pen lovers. That's known.
You like a nice stroke.
Yeah, it's funny because my handwriting sucks and I'm a lefty and fountain pen
Just
users.
smearing your.
But I love writing with a fountain pen.
You got me a gachapon, Ian.
I did. The Nintendo store.
Oh, this is adorable.
One of the little. They did the really cool controller, almost like fidgety keychains. Some are buttons. They did some of the N64 joysticks.
So it's like they chopped a Famicom controller in half.
Yeah.
So that's the buttons of a Famicom controller.
I got the GameCube C-Stick one, and it's fun to fiddle with.
Oh, man.
I got you.
That I would have wanted the whole setup. Was there like 10 of them? Different parts of each controller?
I think there's 6 in set 1 and 6 in set 2.
That's something I'd want. I'm sure they're on eBay.
They are. And depending on which Nintendo store you go to, sometimes there's no lines and you can get as many as you want, and sometimes you can get one and there's lines. They were selling out like crazy in Tokyo.
Really?
Yeah,
random machines?
You had to line up for the gacha machine.
Really?
Yeah.
But did you hit some retro game stores, Ian, while you're there? Did you hit one? You had to buy some PC Engine?
No. I hit up retro game stores, hit up all of them, and I'm not going to dwell too much on it. My buddy Kevin took us, Vani and I, to Akihabara, and that was a lot of fun. But PC Engine prices in Japan, you may as well just buy off of eBay.
Really?
Yes.
They know that we're suckers for it. Those dumb gaijin. Pay whatever.
And a lot of the retro stuff was kind of the more popular retro stuff was like that Saturn, etc. However, it was good for Game Boy. So I did end up buying some Game Boy games at a significant discount.
And Famicom, I'm sure, is cheap.
Famicom's all over, but I didn't really look at it.
Okay, I know most Famicom games no one cares about.
Well, there was a lot of them can be expensive. Predator's like $300.
Predator and Famicom?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wonder why.
Box complete, at least.
I guess they didn't make a lot of them?
I guess.
That's right, the Famicom's cheaper.
I bought some Switch games, because honestly, import Switch games that you would import for the Switch to the US are way cheaper if you could just pick them up at a Bic Camera or a used game store.
Bic Camera? That's like just an electronics store?
Yeah,
like
it's multiple floors, phone stuff, video games, camera equipment.
Interesting.
I actually picked up a camera while I was there, too. I forgot to mention that.
Like what? Like a 35 millimeter?
No, I just picked up a Instax 99. It's one of the mini Polaroids.
Film? Like a little mini.
Yeah, it uses the mini Polaroid film, but it's not a digital one because they do sell digital ones that are really popular.
Okay.
But they take photos that are worse than your phone.
Oh, that's weird.
And then they print them out, but I bought Vani a Bluetooth Instax printer, so there's no reason for me to do that. So I got an analog one that has a lot of fun light settings and stuff like that. It'll be fun to mess with. But yeah, like I said, check out that Patreon because I will talk about way more of this there. We don't have nearly enough time in the intro for me to go over all of that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good, Ian. I'm glad you had fun.
It was great.
I was going to go there in 2020. I was looking at the prices for my birthday, and then the world went to hell in a handbasket, as my grandfather would say.
That's how, I mean, that was what was up with Vonnie and I. 2018, we didn't have enough time to save. 2019, we were doing conventions. 2020, the world fell apart. Her mom got sick after. It was just like everything kept getting pushed, but I'm really glad we just said, we're fucking doing it. So you really need to go next year.
Yeah. I mean, God, I can picture buying the property and be like, oh, I'm gonna go hang out in Japan and relax. But there's a lot of different rules for foreigners buying property there. There's like different rules. You have to live there a certain amount of time, and they don't want people to like Airbnb, Japanese homes. So
there's a lot of very strict rules on doing Airbnb style stuff.
Yeah, they want you, like, if you buy property, they want you to like be a part of there because they need to fill up places. They're like people are all moving to the city.
Well, in the countryside, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, the countryside, there's still great places, like great houses that are just sitting there, like even traditional style homes that you can buy for pennies on the dollar. It's incredible. So anyway,
you know what they don't have in Japan? Lunchly.
I don't think that would pass the muster in Japanese if they had an FDA.
Oh God, I'll talk about how great convenience store food is in the writing this week too. But Lunchly, we talked about it. Broke my brain. We have 3 people that have no fucking ties to culinary stuff other than fucking Mr. Beast's pop-up burger, fucking ghost kitchen restaurant,
stupid chocolate bars.
The word is in on some of these Lunchlys, and there was one with moldy cheese.
Oh no, there was just one. I mean, there was multiple of these reported that had mold, and they were all from the pizza. There's 3 different Lunchlys. Remember, this is a Lunchables clone. We're cloning now, cheap, ready-to-eat package meals for 10-year-olds, and so the pizza one, Ian, has shredded cheese, something resembling a tomato sauce in some theory, and
fancy ketchup,
and then what is the doughy?
A big fucking stale cracker is what because I've had the Lunchables one once. It does. I mean, it's like a stale cracker.
It's like a cracker. It's not even any doughy.
It's a doughy stale cracker.
Okay. So that was one of the 3 they did. They did the nacho one, and then they did the fucking
chicken nuggets.
No, not chicken nuggets. I did the ham slice.
Oh, the stackers. Okay.
The stacker, whatever you call them, meat slice. In theory, it's meat slice.
Meat circles.
Meat circles. So that's the 3 they marketed. And we're like, this has nothing to do with any of KSI or Logan Paul's or Mr. Beast brand. This is just something like the Prime drink. Nothing to do with your brand, but hey, I'm going to push it. It's like all the celebrities that get their gins and they get their like tequila stuff. And it's just, I'm behind this.
The Rock, Matthew McConaughey, they all have that shit.
I want my own tequila. I'm not going to lie. But when you realize that they're just pushing it because whatever they're going to push, they know their followers are going to buy. And that's why these are influencers in theory. And that's why they do this. So Lunchly comes out, and a very big YouTuber that's a culinary YouTuber. And her name is, what's her, God, I just missed the clip here.
Rosanna Pansino.
Hey, Paisan, Rosanna Pansino. I knew when she was down the street. She was 8 years old. She hung out with my sister. Anyway, sorry. But so she does reviews of this stuff. And she was going to compare Lunchables, the 3 versus the 3 Lunchlys that are ripping off Lunchables. And she even looked into like they rip off the font too and how the L is like. I'm not saying they're going to get sued. We'll get into patent infringement later with another topic in the intro. But so she was going to review this, and so she opens up the pizza one and sees all over the shredded cheese just a bunch of blue-green molds inside.
I just want to say one of my favorite things about this article is one of their sycophants was like, blue cheese has mold. And it's like, this wasn't supposed to be blue cheese, you fucking idiots. This is supposed to be mozzarella.
Yeah, you don't want to just eat mold willy-nilly.
Can you imagine that being your life? Like you just fucking prostrate yourself in front of fucking YouTubers?
You cape for an influencer who doesn't give a shit about you at all. You'll never meet. They'll never know your name. And you are now defending their moldy, shitty meal.
Yeah.
So basically, one of the things that they try to say in their embarrassing like launch video that we covered with KSI, Logan Paul, and Mr. Beast. What's his real fucking name?
Yeah, I'm not Jimmy something. We can just call him Jimmy.
Jimmy YouTuber.
Not fucking calling you Mr. Beast anymore.
This is all more natural stuff than Lunchables. We don't have as many preservatives and emulsifiers and stuff. Well, there's a reason that you use preservatives in certain foods, which is something that the Lunchable people probably know about because they're a real fucking business. And that the fact is that when you're making these products and you're saying, oh, we got all natural cheese, for example. Well, certain things don't age or carry as well when you make this stuff and get it to market. They don't make, they're not making these Lunchleys in the back room of your supermarket and putting out. They have to make them somewhere out of state and transfer them. This could take days or weeks at some points for some of these food items.
And they're likely using the same production lines because they didn't set up a brand new production line to make copycat Lunchables.
So if you want to say, hey, our cheese is all natural, we don't have any shit in it, you got to make sure your packaging is on point. So fucking that it's not air getting in there or anything weird or moisture, which is likely what happened in this case, is that their packaging was shit. And she even looked at the glue on it by the cheese, like, oh yeah, the glue seal probably wasn't complete. And so what do you get? Moldy fucking cheese.
They ordered the blue light special fucking Lunchables clone, marketing line off of Mercari or AliExpress.
Oh, and it was blue, all right, but blue from mold. So the point is this: influencers out there, I know you have. You look at your fan base sometimes as it's dollar signs, and they're just ATM.
It's the river of cash.
At the very least, can you know what the fuck you're putting out and connect to your audience in some way that is meaningful versus that, hey, I'm going to put out a line of, I don't know. What did we say last time? Like body pillows, like something that has nothing to do with your audience or whatever. Like, why would you do that? In this case, it's just something consumable. They pack in fucking Prime that are laying around, and I've seen things online about that's not selling as well as when it first came out. Prime is on a downward slide. That's what I saw for sales online.
Well, honestly, I feel like that's the bigger point of this Lunchables thing is they're not really concerned about the food. It's to push Prime and it's to push the Mr. Beast bars, both of which are included and both of which probably have a short shelf life in terms of popularity. See what I did there? Short shelf life.
Ian.
Anyway, in terms of popularity, because no one is going to decide that their favorite chocolate bar in the world is the Mr. Beast bar and keep buying it for eternity. They buy it once because they saw their YouTuber talk about it, and then they go back to buying Snickers, a tried and true candy bar.
And Rosanna wasn't the only person that saw this mold. A lot of people are reporting it. She's just the biggest person with millions of followers, so this is the worst nightmare. And as of yesterday, they didn't respond because this is a big deal. This is like recall shit. This is like FDA shit. When like you're putting out something that kids are buying potentially, like 10-year-olds want a fucking Lunchly, and then they're eating moldy food and getting sick potentially.
And there's already a spotlight on it right now too, because
it's fucking done.
Because Boar's Head has been in the news. They had 2 recalls in the span of like...
Oh, yeah. Boar's Head, people were dropping dead. Not willy-nilly, but the people were getting really sick and some people died.
Yes, and then like 3 weeks later, there was another recall from them. So
and Boar's Head was one of the better known quality brands for a long time.
Sure.
So it can happen.
But things can taste good and still be made in horribly unsanitary conditions.
Well,
that's what it is.
You got to make sure that we have regulations. Big government.
We don't need regulations.
Sometimes you need regulations because companies don't give a shit and will just poison you.
Fucking idiots. If you vote for less regulations, you should be forced to eat handfuls of that roast beef.
You should be able to eat moldy.
Take the gamble! Take the gamble, motherfuckers! Anyways, speaking of people who should not be making food, and it has nothing to do with what they make, Atari entered the sauce market.
Oh, you were done with the moldy Lunchly?
Oh, yeah, done with the moldy Lunchly. Atari entered the sauce market, and that's just ridiculous. They announced this, I think, right before I left for Japan. So
I was looking for this at PRG. Atari had a big, nice booth at PRG to show up the 700 Plus, to show off the new Yars Rising game and all some of that.
That game's actually supposed to be pretty good.
It got mixed reviews on it.
It looked all right.
It got mixed reviews.
I'm just a Yars fanboy, not an Atari fanboy.
Yeah,
just a
but I
Yars
mean, it's
fanboy.
not.
I know,
it's
I
not
know,
the game.
I know. Well, there's hacking segments that kind of take the original idea of the game, and
It's a Metroidvania with hacking elements.
Right.
That's the game. But anyway, go on. Hot
so
sauce.
they're making barbecue sauces and hot sauces and just slapping adventures on it. So Adventure is a Mystic Dragon hot sauce. Asteroids is a galactic hot barbecue sauce. Electric
God.
Citrus hot sauce is that Berserk? That's not even your fucking game, guys. That's Stern Electronics. So the only one that makes somewhat sense is Crystal Castles gets an enchanted berry barbecue sauce because you collect berries in it. Fucking dumb. Has nothing to do with it. And like immediately I'm thinking, okay, this has got to be some label slap on stuff, but hear me out. If someone at Atari is just like really into fucking making sauces, they're a pitmaster in the spare time.
They're making it in their garage.
Then okay, fine, sure. You're a fucking weird fly-by-night company that's just doing whatever will stick to the walls. But my friend Frank Cifaldi, our friend, pointed out that if you go to sauceshed.com,
Sauceshed.com.
because I was like, because I asked him, I said, this has got to be. I said, this has got to be just pre-made stuff that you pay to slap a label on. I said, but that's a big variety of sauces.
Like the celebrity alcohols.
Right.
A lot of them are just slapped on labels.
So I'm like, but what? It wasn't the disbelief, but I'm just like, so what place does that? And he goes, well, here's one, and links me to sauceshed.com, and you load it up, and yeah, you see bottles of sauces that are all roughly the same colors of the bottles of sauces.
Why haven't we done this?
Because I refuse to fucking do that.
We are a lot more hot sauce adjacent than Atari is.
I refuse to do that
The
sort of
Ferguson
thing.
sauce.
John and I at Really Rad Weekend this weekend are actually doing our first restaurant pop-up. It'll be a lot of fun. I would not ever slap my name on manufactured sauce.
What's real quick, cross-promoting, what's your restaurant pop-up going to be?
Oh, we're just, we're doing dogs, and we're doing...
You mean you're making them?
No, we're doing Coney Island. So we're making the sauces. We're doing Coney Island dogs. We imported Salins from Buffalo and Zweigel's White Hots from Buffalo.
So you
we're
come out
doing...
and you make the...
Yeah, we're doing a food truck. We're doing Coney Islands, chili verdes, a Thai chili, and I'm doing fries with hot honey mustard, pickled garlic, and bacon. Anyways, it's gonna be fun. But that's the thing. Like, I hate the idea of slapping a label. I take food too seriously to just slap a label on something someone else is doing. It's just it reeks of wanting just another stupid revenue chain to sell to your idiot followers that will buy fucking anything.
Well, this is what I'm going to say about this, about Atari, is that, you're squeezing every last drop out of these old IPs. We talked about this years ago. We said, how new or viable remakes can you make of this stuff? You're going to run out eventually. Over the past years, you've made some, decent remakes of like Centipede and like Asteroids. And
I'll give them. There have been some smart decisions in the past few years. And in general, they're still doing this fucking throw anything out there they can.
Yeah, but now and obviously you're going to do like the Yars Rising thing where it's okay. It's not a remake. We're just taking the name, and some people will buy it. I don't think those are going to be massively successful. I don't think I'm going on a limb on all those games because now you're selling a new game to people that remember Yars Adventure when they were 10 years old, 40 years ago.
But
so Yars Revenge at 40. So like it doesn't make sense from a marketing sort of demographic. But this is as bad as me as almost as doing it like an NFT. Like this is bad.
It's just dumb.
This is like you look like a zombie IP company.
Yes.
That's putting out whatever.
It makes you look desperate.
It makes you look cheap.
Yeah.
This is cheaper than, this is like going back to 10 years ago when you try to, almost 10 years ago when you try to do the watch and do like the radio hat. Like this is shit that should not exist.
Make sequels to your mostly successful recharged games.
Do an FPGA Atari system that we've been clamoring for to really preserve the hardware for 100 years from now instead of an emulator system. Like that's the thing.
And people tell us, oh, well, we don't have the money to do that. It would cost too much. You can't tell me that it costs too much to do an FPGA console when you're fucking throwing out barbecue sauces.
No, that's not true.
Just rein it in a little bit.
No, they have the money. They have the money to do an FPGA. They
just don't respect their customers.
They're just milking it. I think. So this is bad. Don't buy the hot sauce unless you want an Atari collector. I mean, they sell the cart redos. The remakes of the carts, and so they sell those to the same probably 500 people that buy the Atari, these sort of products, and it works. They sell out. We go to their shop. A lot of this stuff is sold out. It is.
Yeah,
But this is embarrassing for Atari. Mm-hmm. It's not as embarrassing as the NFTs or the casino or the crypto. That was like really, really the dredges. But you got to stay away from stuff that has nothing to do with your brand identity.
Breakout, Brick Smash barbecue sauce. Smash through ordinary barbecue flavors with Brick Smash. Tangy, sweet, and ready to break out at your next cookout. Fuck me. Okay, moving on.
Speaking of hot sauce connoisseurs, Billy Mitchell, who, by the way, my partner, my booth partner, PRG, Carl, very nice fellow, had a Billy Mitchell hot sauce that was 15 years old, unopened. I don't know if you can consume that at this point, but he had it there for sale, and no one bought it.
And hot sauce has a pretty good shelf life. There's a lot of vinegars and stuff in there, but
that could last.
But I don't know that I would eat a hot sauce 15 years old.
Like ketchup lasts a long time because there's some of that in there.
Right. There's natural preservatives in a lot of hot sauce.
Mustard lasts decades for some reason.
But still, 15 years. That's pushing it.
That's pushing it.
That's pushing it.
Push it good. All right. So we didn't talk about this the last podcast. I think it's over. The trial, the defamation lawsuit that Billy Mitchell brought against Carl Jobst in Australia. This has been going back and forth for almost a couple of years now, and it finally went to a bench trial with a judge there. And they have barristers. I don't know if they wear the wigs there like they do in Great Britain. I don't know if they do that, but it sounds like it's a little bit formal. It's like, don't wear the wigs. That's just silly. What century we're in? And the robes.
What fucking great institution are we preserving by wearing bullshit powdered wigs?
Wear a nice blazer and slacks. Anyway, so this defamation lawsuit is now, the trial's basically done, or is finishing, and now the judge will decide what happens. And this lawsuit is largely over something Carl said in a video that he did retract, where he thought that Billy Mitchell going after Apollo Legend may have contributed to Apollo Legend's death. That's what a lot of this lawsuit is about. It's not in question whether or not Billy Mitchell cheated or not. That is not what this defamation lawsuit is about. It's largely about the Apollo Legend stuff, and then Billy claims that because of that, he's no longer making revenue going to a lot of these conventions, and so that's where he's trying to get money for. Or I think there's at perfectpacman.com, there is insanely detailed write-ups day to day. Someone from the U.S., the Perfect Pac-Man guy, or Earth's Cats, that's the name. Ersatz Cats went over to Australia, booked it and stayed there for like a week or so to go and sit there and to write down everything that's happening because it wasn't available online.
Oh shit!
Like, we're talking dedication.
Yeah, that's dedication to the cause.
I guess if you run perfectpacman.com, I mean, you're gonna do this is your life. I mean, not in a bad way. Like, this is your hobby.
But that is your topic, right?
That's de jure. So Ersatz with a Z _cats. And he's a fan of ours. He's followed us a little bit.
Well, I like his name.
So go. These are 10,000 word write-ups each day. I've read most of them about a lot of specific legal arguments going back and forth between the judge and we're talking as detailed as you can get, like recording it while you're doing it, and then obviously inserting opinions. He's obviously more pro Carl than I think 99% of us are versus pro Billy in this case. And by going through some of this, Billy does not seem to have a case, but you never know what the judge is going to say because
it's a lot less cut and dry.
But there is a lot of things that came up where Billy claimed, I lost revenue because of this claim in this video. Like, that's a lot of his, and that's just like, no, people knew you were an asshole way before this.
Right. We need to see what you were pulling from conventions before he said that and compare it to after, because I guarantee you there's not a change.
No, but even if there was a change, can he attribute it to Carl's
or just
specific video?
A continuing decline in sales because people no longer care about you.
Yes, and they actually brought someone on as a witness that ran a convention, and they basically asked it straight up: did Carl's coverage influence you at all to not invite Billy back? And the person said, no, we just want to change up our guests.
Because I have a feeling a lot of people who run these conventions aren't into this nitty gritty and don't know that either.
Well, plus though, Billy's reputation is pretty bad going back to the King of Kong documentary that's almost 15 years old. And he tried suing the fucking Cartoon Network thing for the parody of him.
Oh.
So Billy has a history of either trying to sue or being in the limelight for bad reasons.
It was a regular show.
And then obviously the Twin Galaxies lawsuits. So he's trying to pin it specifically on Carl, saying that Carl's video defamed him.
Right.
In that one specific instance, I personally, and obviously I'm not unbiased as I know Carl, but I don't think there's a real argument to be made there, because it'd be hard to even claim specific damages. And that's where I think it falls short. So even if it
real loosey-goosey.
So even if you say, well, that specific instance of saying that, that Billy Mitchell contributed to Apollo Legends, that even if people end up thinking that, even though I don't think that's true, the specific damages I don't think exist for that, because Billy's reputation was never sterling up to that point.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's basically my non-professional legal opinion on what I think is going to happen. But obviously, it's been very stressful for Carl. We're talking a ton of money, having to go back and forth. And then in Australia, what happens is you can't get out of it. If you're the plaintiff, you have to go forward with a lawsuit at a certain point. You can't just back out. So like they're all in, all chips to the table. So we'll see what happens. By the next podcast in November, hopefully there's a resolution, but who knows how long the judge takes to issue the ruling there. Speaking of that, real quick, someone that's threatened us with a lawsuit in the past, Patrick Scott Patterson, legally threatened the person that runs PerfectPacman.com as well.
Because he's a corny motherfucker.
Just really weird stuff happening. He legally threatened me, you, someone else we know, legally threatened other people. I just don't understand why you would do that. Just relax.
No, he's a preservationist.
More game layoffs in the industry. I mean, at this point, I should probably delete this from the docket, because like it's hard to keep track anymore.
Right. And I mean,
it's just literally, it's just sad. We can't keep track.
I need to emphasize that it's not because Pat or I don't care. It's because there is nothing more we can say about how fucking abysmal the state of the video game industry is right now. Literally no one up top cares, and they are, I mean, they've killed their fields. They're salting the soil. I mean, eventually there's not going to be any more games for them to make money off of.
Now when you Google game layoffs, that Obsidian tracker shows up top. So that means a lot of people are searching it like us.
Right.
So the latest ones, Tencent, Riot Games. That's right. Riot Games was 9 days ago, 32 people, a bunch of other ones. But yeah, if you go to that website, you can see a bunch of them. And it's every week, just about. There's like 75, 16, 25, 35, 650 from Microsoft 2 months ago. We talked about that. That was like a small but big chunk of that workforce, like 10% or whatever it was. So yeah, it is what it is. And it's not gonna get any better until there's like some correction in the thought process of how we make and produce these games. We cannot have all our games take 7 years to make and cost $300 million. We have to make smaller games, focus games for different audiences, and not just put all our eggs in one fucking basket, like the movie industry has unfortunately turned to as well. We need smaller and medium-sized entertainment projects. Not everything has to be a gigantic 400-hour experience.
Yes. I mean, games as services and the death of single and double A games, as people call them, and I've said it before, is what has destroyed the video game industry.
Yes.
The fact that, we got these people in charge that think everything needs to be a Fortnite and there are no single player games anymore. Everything runs off of a constantly updating backbone where you can't even play the game you purchased 5 years ago because things have been added and removed. Destiny. Yeah. I mean, and it's an older example, but just World of Warcraft clearly is, another one that comes to mind where, that's not the direction that's not the form that consumers want video games to take. A few of those are okay.
Yes, but that can't be your whole industry.
Can't be the entire industry. That's not video games. That's not what people play them for.
Yeah.
I know people who don't play video games anymore because they didn't like playing online games, and there's just nothing for them to play anymore on consoles, at least.
People don't go back and play retro games just because it's what they remember. They want to play a style of game that way that doesn't exist by and large for like modern games.
It's a tight, concise experience.
Yeah.
There's that meme that goes around that I want games that cost less to make and look worse, and I'm not joking. And obviously it's a little tongue in cheek, but it's true. the graphics are not the thing anyone cares about. Not everyone wants to play photorealistic games. Give me games that look good enough, that are fun to play, that can be beaten in 8 hours. Like, lots of us don't have the time for more than that.
We got other stuff to do. We got to cook hot dogs at conventions.
That's right. That's right. Gotta fucking sling wieners.
Real quick, I think I mentioned this. There's an IGN mini documentary about 25 minutes long that I'm in about Gimmick and the new Gimmick sequel that I still have to play. I'm ashamed of myself for not playing the sequel yet, but I have to check it out. It's gotten good reviews. I think I sent you the code.
Yes, before I left, so I unfortunately haven't had a chance to play it either.
I've been in book hell and other things with the book releasing that I won't get into. We'll talk about the book later in the podcast. But I have to play it. But go check out Gimmick 2. It actually has gotten really good reviews. So there you go. So they've honored the Gimmick legacy, and I'm in the documentary. So it's really weird. I mean, I'm sort of tied to the game just because I put out. I don't know how many people did a review at the time or whatever, but I put out a Pat the NES Punk video in 2011 talking about how brilliant the game was, and so I'm sort of tied to the game a little bit in that way, which is a cute little guy. I don't mind being tied to him. I'm also tied to UltimateNintendo.com because I own the URL. That's a store
where you can, words right out of my mouth.
You can buy enamel pins that still sell at conventions, and Ian gets his share. Enamel CU podcast pins. We got stickers there. RBI baseball stickers that I cut off and bring to conventions.
How's that roll looking?
It's a little bit thinner. I think I'll be dead before I get through it. I'm gonna put this in my will to you, Ian. You got to deal with it. And we got a new book at UltimateNintendo.com that's now on the shelf. Moved that Evil Knievel Amico game away, and they replaced the Super Nintendo book I put down here. So I should probably swap those because the NES has been out of print. So check it out. The pre-orders are, I think at this point, 95% shipped out. A bit slower than I would have liked, but logistics things happen. It's out of my control. I'm not boxing them and sending them out myself, but I'd say 95% of the pre-orders are either in people's hands or in the mail at this point. So that's the good news. So it'll go from the pre-order stage to like live, like probably like next week, I would think, when I'm back. Because I'm going to be at Retropalooza in Fort Worth, Texas, the Dallas-Fort Worth area, this weekend. My 8th one. And that's the, what is that? The 26th and 27th. Come out and see me. Me and Pixel Dan will be there. I hear Dan might be wrestling there.
Ooh.
I don't think I've ever seen Dan wrestle in person. I've seen him on videos. He's a good wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
The scientific... What was the term they used to use back in like the 80s for wrestling? The mat science? I forget the exact term. I'm tired. Anyway, so there you go. So go to UltimateNintendo.com. Buy a book or two if you want. What else is going on? Arcade1Up announced a full-size claw machine, but it's $500. $500. But it's currently unavailable, so it's sold out, I guess. So what the hell do I know?
I think there are people who are tied to that brand, and I find that weird. But what I would like to point out is it's not even a particularly nice looking claw machine. It looks really basic and, well, it's not appealing. And having just come back from Japan, I will tell you one of the big things about claw machines and how they get people in is they're fucking appealing looking. They're nice. There's lights, sounds. This does not. This looks like the claw. This already looks like a claw machine that spent a decade in a Denny's and is beat to shit.
Well, I don't know how it looks beat to shit. I just think it looks bland.
Yeah. Well, yes. Bland.
It just looks bland. The design is just bland. I mean, but what are you going to get? You got a button and a joystick on a claw machine, right? Like that's what you do. You move it around, you drop it. Right? I mean, I picture myself an aficionado. I've been playing claw machines since I was 4 years old on the Jersey Shore. So like I've seen the industry, if you will, evolve, and I've played all different type of claw machines. I've played the free ones that go up and then over ones that are hell. I played the ones the tabletop looking ones where they go up then over, so you got to stop it and then time it. They're fun, but they're harder. I don't think those exist anymore, but they were fun. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. So like and I've seen the industry also devolve from when it used to be mostly skill based to now we're gonna not tighten the claw until you put in $20.
Well, I will say one of the funny things here is there are 3 difficulty levels: easy, medium, and scam mode.
And scam mode exists though. It should be illegal, obviously, but that's how the block lineup thing works. You know what I mean? Where the blocks that get lined up, like the LED lights, it's not based on skill alone. It's based upon it's like the slot machines where there's a payout that's locked to how much money goes in.
Yes.
So it's gambling in a way.
And I mean, that's how they are in Japan too, at least most of them. I mean, there was something in one of them that I wanted, and it was one of the cheaper ones, so I knew it would lock for me eventually. But I did 2 pickups that were perfectly fine, and it was just nothing. And then the third pickup was like locked tight. There was no way it was going to fall out until it dropped it out. I mean, that's just how it is.
Yeah, but it used to not be that way. There was machines that were just purely skill, where it was like it might have been looser, but it didn't change. I mean, it didn't change.
A looser overall claw, but still a claw that you could
it was consistent. It was a consistent grab.
Right.
That doesn't exist anymore. They've ruined what happened to the industry I loved. What happened to the game I loved? Like as an NBA. By the way, NBA's back, and I'm fucking happy.
No, I'm happy too. I landed just in time to see the Pistons lose their first game. So
I went from Mets disappointment. It was still a great season. Thank you, Grimace, for the season. What was I saying? Yeah, $500 is a little saucy. If I'm gonna go $500, Ian, I'll spend a little more and I'll get a real arcade one, like used at an auction.
Yeah,
that's actually a lot.
Get a Sega or a Namco Bandai one that look nice. Like
I don't know what they go for new. Probably a lot more.
Probably a lot more.
But we're talking like probably more solid. Yeah, it looks a little cheap to me. And I like some of the arcade 1-up stuff. I'm not totally down on arcade 1-up. Some of the stuff I like, but I don't like this. Nintendo and the Pokemon Company are officially suing Palworld developer Pocketpair for multiple patent infringements on Pokemon stuff. So this is interesting because everyone thought, including me, that the lawsuit would be copyright infringement.
Yeah, I have no idea how patent infringement is going to work on this, but I haven't played Palworld.
So the thing going around the comparisons, and they are bad. Some of the models do look in Palworld, not all, but some look like they just took the model and changed a little thing here and there.
Oh yeah, no, I said that from day one. Like, I mean, a lot of them are very, very similar. Yes.
So I don't know how copyright laws work like that in Japan. Going back to the Fire Pro, where they put in real likenesses of wrestlers, but didn't name them that, so they got away with it. But maybe in Japan, the copyright laws are looser for that stuff. And maybe,
well, it's probably also easier to say this isn't them when you're working with rough sprite work as opposed to 3D models.
Yeah. So, but for this case, I don't know why they couldn't sue over the models, because the models look so close. Some look like they're 90%, and they literally said, "Oh, we'll just change the ear position on this animal," and it's like. I guess Nintendo went through their lawyer team and said, we can't sue over that, because to me that looked like a slam dunk. Or it's like what do you do?
I don't know enough about copyright to smartly comment on it, but that was also my thought. I thought that's where they would aim it.
I definitely at least know a little bit about copyright. I don't know anything about patents and patent law when it comes to this. So, but the fact that Palworld's been out for what, a year at least? When did it come out?
About a year ago.
So Nintendo took a year to put this lawsuit together. Which
that means they feel like they have something solid and they're going to present it as rock solidly as they think.
Or they got all their ducks in a row.
Right.
I remember the only social media thing they responded to at the time was, we are aware of this. Like, remember someone tweeted at them and they tweeted back like, we are aware of this. So like, because they were tired of people saying, hey, look at this game that might be ripping you off.
Right.
And Nintendo, they rarely acknowledge that stuff. They said, yeah, we are well aware, blah, blah, blah. So they were starting to, I think probably at that point, this is a year ago, say, okay, I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea. The patent stuff, I think, goes for, like, I guess it's the design of throwing things and capturing them, because that's what you do in Pokemon. Like,
right.
So
patent-wise, that would have to be something mechanical to the game, I believe. That's my understanding.
But as far as I know, legally, mechanics is not something that you could hold as you own. Otherwise, no other game could ever been made.
The early Nintendo era would have been nothing but patent infringements. I mean, yeah.
Like, then you can say, well, in my platformer, you jump on enemies' heads. I own that mechanic now. You know what I mean? Like, so no game could never have been made past 1985.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, by the middle of the Nintendo lifespan, we wouldn't be able to make any more games. There just wouldn't be anything.
So I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, it was January early access. It seems like it was a lot longer than that.
It does.
This year has seemed longer. It hasn't been short years. Does it feel like a long year?
Yeah,
long
no,
year?
I agree.
Like a longish year. Usually some years are short. We're like 3/4 through the year already. More than 3/4. 80%. Pat math on that.
Pat math.
Yeah, you can look up. There's articles about the Pokemon fans, and like they posted, hey, look at you look at the IGN page, the comparison on the art, like those two models are 89% the same. Ian, that fox looking creature with the hair. You see the IGN article?
Yeah.
Scroll down. You see that thing at the bottom?
Oh, it looks like I'm trying to remember the name of it. Well, yeah, I mean, this one more than anything, the Litleo and Litlian, the Palworld comparison, that's very, very similar. It's insane.
There's some that are super close. That's what everyone thought the lawsuit would be about. But I guess we were wrong. We were wrong about that. Then the Alarmo clock came out, and hey, we got new hardware.
I like it when Nintendo does weird stuff like this. I also like things that kind of tie into sleep tracking. As a person who doesn't sleep very well, I'm always interested in how things track your sleep.
So this will monitor you?
So this will monitor you. Yes.
Okay, that's scary.
It will monitor your sleep. There's a couple of modes. One where it pays attention to how much you're moving, shifting, and getting up. Then there's a button mode that you can use if you sleep in a big bed with your wife, as Homer Simpson would say. It's a Simpsons reference.
Well, I'm just saying, they monitor other movements in bed?
I mean, if you got to turn the Alarmo away. But I mean, it's weird. I like the style of clock that it's emulating, which is the gentle wake up alarm clock.
Oh, that starts low and then
basically
builds.
It starts with light first, and then the light starts low, then it gets a little bit brighter, then it starts with a softer tone until finally it's all alarms blazing. And this one kind of does that with Bowser comes out.
He's like, if you're not
yeah, basically if
can you customize though? This has customized.
So it says it says there are custom scenes, so you can pick different scenes, which will give you different characters that wait for you, which give you different victory jingles for when you get up on time.
I think we're burying the lead a little bit.
Yes.
This is a digital face on it.
So yes, digital face. It's a 2.8-inch LCD screen.
So you have a readout with like animation and stuff. So so this is like not like traditional, alarm clock. You hit a button, it stops.
Well, there is a button on top.
Oh, sure, but you know what I mean. This isn't an analog. There's no bell inside.
So it's interesting. It's also $100, and it's sold out immediately in Japan. I mean, I was like in Japan. Because I had saved money for 5 years, I was like a little bit looser with some of my purchases than I would have been. And I was like, if there's one at the Nintendo store tomorrow, fuck it, I'll buy it. And we we didn't go there for Alarmo, but we walked into the Nintendo store around 12:30 in the afternoon, and there was big signs, Alarmo is sold out.
I'm sure they're going to be back in stock online everywhere, because we talked about this before the podcast. There's not so far a big holiday 24 Nintendo product. This is going to be it, I think. If we haven't seen one announced by now, like there was NES Classic in 16. That was the big one because the Wii, the Wii U was dead and they're waiting for the Switch. Like there's usually like a primary product or game focus. It was Odyssey, Mario Odyssey. Like what was that 3-4 years ago already? Like there's always like the one big product that
Mario
Nintendo
Odyssey,
pushes.
I think was longer. That was way pre-pandemic.
4 years ago.
Mario Odyssey
was it 5 years? 19 maybe? It was 19.
I'll look.
Could have been 6 years. That's when it was like it was 2 years into the Switch. Anyway, so this is my thoughts on the clock. It's cute.
2017.
It was the first year of the Switch Odyssey?
That's October 27th, 2017.
Why did it seem like it was a couple years in?
It didn't to me. That's why I had
it felt like it was to me. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. Wow, that was 7 years ago? Holy shit. I love that game. I didn't beat it. I played like half of it. So this is what I'll say about it. This is part of we are in still the Disneyfication era of Nintendo. With the animated movie. Now there's going to be a live-action Zelda movie.
Well, in Super Nintendo World, which I talked about in the bonus segment, is very much Nintendo's Disney.
Theme parks, other products. Now we are getting into lifestyle products that have nothing to do with playing games. And I am not judging you if you buy this. I honestly am not. I think it's a cute product.
It's a large amount of what the Nintendo Store and the Pokemon Centers both sell is lifestyle products. You would not believe the amount of kitchen shit you can buy from both of those stores.
This is my warning. I'm not saying you don't have to go down this route, but be careful because now you're literally going to be every time you wake up and go to sleep, you are thinking about a brand in front of your face. And yes, we all love Nintendo. We all love these different things. But just think about that and the process, like what road you are now going to be walking down potentially.
Well, it's like Disney adults. There are some Disney adults that I know that are fine. They're pleasant. They just love the parks and stuff like that. And they may have a few of those things, in their house. But yeah, you want to. I think more importantly, you want to avoid making any brand your identity.
Correct. Because this is a slippery slope. I'm not saying Nintendo's going to put out these other products, but we are living in the world where the Darth Vader, toaster exists, where you want to toast your bread and it has a Darth Vader fucking impression on it. So I don't want to see Nintendo go down that route where now they're milking every type of product possible for you to buy, where now you walk into someone's house and everything is branded that. That's unhealthy, in my opinion.
You don't want Nintendo to... I love some Hello Kitty stuff. I love the designs, but you don't want Nintendo to be as all-encompassing as something like Hello Kitty, where literally everything you can think of, you can buy a Hello Kitty version of it.
Yeah.
Hello Kitty plungers, Hello Kitty fucking bathtub scrubbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You can say, hey, Pat, you own a lot of Nintendo stuff. Yes, but it's all gaming related for the most part. I don't own a Mario spatula. I don't cook. I don't have like a Kirby blender in my kitchen. Ian would love that probably, but I do not have that. That's what I mean. To me, there should be a healthy separation in some aspects.
For me, it's got to make some sort of sense. Like a Kirby fan, they make Kirby fans.
Okay.
Those are fucking cool. It makes sense.
Use them in the game. Yeah.
It's Kirby with a big mouth and he's just blowing, air. It's it makes sense. But
I was thinking of Smash Brothers, they attack the fan.
Oh, sure. But I don't... Animal Crossing has really gone down that path more than I think any other game.
Okay.
The amount of kitchen stuff you can get for Animal Crossing. And there was a nice kitchen timer, and I need kind of a nice new kitchen timer. And I'm looking at it, and this is cute, and it's adorable. And I'm like, but I didn't even like the last Animal Crossing game.
Okay.
And... do I need an Animal Crossing kitchen timer? No. Do I need to pay the $30 for an Animal Crossing kitchen timer when I can buy a perfectly functional one that I can slap on my fridge for $15? Sure. It's just, not everything has to be branded in something you enjoy.
And real quick, this is something that people have asked me to talk about on my stream or just on Twitter. We've seen the implosion of a YouTube personality the past couple months. That was, in my opinion, long overdue because the individual, to me, is not a
Who might we be talking about?
Richard Masucci.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
ReviewTechUSA. And this isn't stomping on the person's grave. I've talked about this with Alex on the Not Coming podcast about I just wish people woke up to this individual a lot sooner, which happens to a lot of people online where people either don't see that these people have problems or ignore them and their behavior. And then finally it comes to a crescendo and everyone realizes this person's a piece of shit. And so ReviewTechUSA deleted their YouTube channel. We're talking 15 years of videos just gone. And they are feuding with other online personalities. Their personal life is now front and center. So I don't feel super happy that this is happening to this individual. Is it deserved? Maybe in some aspects, maybe not in others. But I just think it's unfortunate that I don't know. I feel that these people that in particular have come after me and Ian over the years, these folks obviously do it because they feel they don't like us. But a lot of times these people have personal issues, like deep issues, that they feel like by coming after us, that's how they get it out of their system, or we trigger them in some way. So that's how I feel about it.
People who come after us in the ways that someone like he came after us, there's more going on there. Yes. You don't come after people in the way that you've come after us, and still get to hold on to this concept that these people are good people.
Yeah.
There's disagreements. And then there's the stuff that happened the last time we really talked about them.
Yeah.
And it's just, this is not an I told you so, but I went off on that last topic, a few years ago. And I mean, called it. Everything that I said was going, when you are a shitty person who is awful to other people, eventually you have no one else around you.
Yeah. And, whether
you pissed it all away, it's all temporary.
Whether it's a review tech reviewer who doesn't review tech, whether it's someone that, had a retro gaming podcast that then called us racist and tried to turn a subreddit against us. Name starts with a Z.
Oh, that guy.
Whether it's someone that did retro videos and then decided to do an hour video slandering me and comparing me to a child predator.
Where are they now?
So these individuals have some troubles if this is the avenue they're going to try to take not just me and Ian down, but other people that they don't like. They got to look at themselves a little bit first and realize what their real motivation is.
Look at how they handle their disagreements. Do they handle their disagreements in an adult way, or do they immediately go to insults and hyperbole?
And borderline slander.
Because they got nothing else.
Nope, they do not.
And you end up with nothing.